All right, guys, here we go with quadratic transformations. Today is our first day working on these. We've actually done a little bit of transformations before, but they were all linear, so it's going to be a little bit different. I prefer quadratic, so hopefully you guys will enjoy this a little bit. So here, IHOD over is an acronym that we use in order to keep track of the different changes. So I'm going to ask you to make sure you have this written down, screenshot it, take a picture, because you won't be able to use notes on your EOC. This is a good trick to help you remember the different transformations. Looking at our acronym, this is where we are. That means so here's our first one. What we have here this is what we call vertex form, and we'll be talking more about this, but each letter represents a transformation, and in this case we're talking about the H, which is located inside the parentheses. So this is inside. So it's going to have a horizontal shift. And it's going to be opposite of what you think it is. So if you think about a number line, you would think if you were moving left on a number line, you would be adding, but that's not the case. It's going to be subtracting. That's going to move you to the right, and so on and so forth. So it's opposite of what you think. I'll add that here. And then, of course, it would be the domain that you would be talking about. But these are the three things that are most important when you're talking about the transformation that is inside the parentheses, the H. K, that went quickly here. So for the K value, because it is outside the parentheses, I'm not sure that color's a great one. We'll go with this one. Because it's outside, it's going to be vertical, and it's exactly what you think. So if you're adding, you're going up. If you're subtracting, you're going down. Simple enough. So if I move forward, we're going to talk about here's kind of a nice summary of these rules. These are called translations. So we're talking about slides. When remember, vertical is up and down and horizontal is left to right. So we got a lot of vocabulary going on here. So let's look at the difference here. So if we're adding 3 outside the parentheses, it's up 3. If we're subtracting outside the parentheses, it's down. Fair enough. If we're subtracting inside the parentheses, this time we're going to the right. So this is a little bit trickier. And then, of course, if it's inside, we're going to the left. So let's look at some. So here I have no parentheses on this expression. So that means we're going to consider this outside. So we're looking at a vertical translation. And because it's vertical, it's exactly what you think is going to happen. We're adding 1, so it's a vertical transition to the right 1 unit. So we're going right 1. So if I look at another one, here I have 2 different transformations. So I'm going to start with, we'll start with this one here. So this is inside. So it's opposite of what you think. So we're looking at the IHOD part of it. It's inside. So it's horizontal. So we're looking at a horizontal. And it's opposite. So you're adding. So horizontally, you would think you'd be going right because of the positive, but we're going horizontal left 4 units. Now I'm going to transition to the 5 here. This is an over situation, so we're outside, which means we're having vertical transformation, transformation, or translation in this case, and it's exactly what you think it is. So because it's vertical, we're talking up and down. So we're going to be going vertically or vertical up 5 units. So now let's look at a different type of question here. So in this case, we have, well, I guess these are very similar. Here I have an outside situation. So it's vertical. We're going up because it's positive and it's 6 units. For the next one, we have an inside situation. So it's horizontal. Now it's subtracting 3, so you would think you would be going to the left because of the negative signs, but you're actually going to be going to the right 3 units. Now this last one has 2 transformations going on for it, or with it, I guess I should say. So as we look at this one, the +2, so we're back to that vertical, so we're going vertical, up 2 units, and then for the other one, we're going horizontal, and I'll abbreviate, and instead of to the right, instead of left, you would be going right, 1 unit. So we're sliding that parabola up, down, left, and right. So let's see what this looks like as a graph. So the function g is graphed below. We want to know what the parent function, how this transforms. So remember, the parent function is the most basic. So it's going to look something like this. Okay? So if we describe this transformation, this is moving up so many units. So we would say up, and it looks like we're going 1, 2, 3 units. So if we're talking about, excuse me, if we're talking about vertical, we're talking about moving this function up and down, and it's outside the parentheses, because remember we have over, so it's outside because of the vertical piece. It's exactly what we think, and it's the range. So in this case, for our function, we would have f of x, or actually we're going to go with g of x. G of x would mean we're going to take that x squared and we're going to add 3 outside the parentheses. There are no parentheses in this case on that function besides the x there. So this would be the equation that matches. Let's look at one more of these. So in this case, again, we're transforming from the parent function, which is located here. Very basic. Now our graph is actually shifting to the left 2 units. So 1, 2. So we're going left 2 units. So for our equation, and again, this is saying g of x, so we have g of x equals. Now, because we know that it is left and right, this is the IHOD, because it's horizontal, so it's inside, and it's opposite of what you think. So the way we're going to work this is, first of all, we're going to have x and something squared. It's opposite of what you think. You're moving to the right, so you would think that this would be a +2, but it's not. It's a -2. So we're going to do x minus 2 squared. So this would be our horizontal transformation.